Welcome to another podcast of Field Talk against urban issues. And now, your host, U.S. Army Ranger, published author and university professor, Dr. Aaron Bryant.
Another one is setting your limits. Again, still working on this for myself, but it's another tool that's supposed to help you be successful. Now, my challenge of setting limits is a little hard because my personality is the type that wants to push the limits. Going back to wanting to, remember I said about decluttering things? Well, it's like, okay, I won't do, I take on a teaching job and I'm a part of my motorcycle club. And then I want to run the business. And then somebody comes knocking on the door and they say, hey, how about doing this? And it's so intriguing that I want to take it on. But again, we're going to put ourselves, or I'm going to put myself back into another situation where I start cluttering everything and then I start losing control. So I have to set my limits. And that's tough to do. So once again, it's something that I'm working on. And luckily right now, I haven't had to push that point yet, but I think I'm literally, and I'm talking real time right now, this particular time, I'm really literally right there at that point. This next one is a very basic, common technique. It's so basic, it's so common, but yet it's tough for me to do. But I got an excuse. So this next one is breathing. Okay, and you're like, oh, breathing. Of course, everybody knows breathing. Well, yeah, but it's not easy for me. To me, I associate breathing with meditation, and I can't meditate anymore. I used to be great at it. I was in martial arts. I got 2 black belts, through my training, especially in Japanese Kempo with Saikosho Shoreikai, we used to meditate all the time, especially when we're doing Shoto. So when we're writing in Japanese and we're doing our rotations and I'm doing my movements with the brush, but you're breathing when you're stroking so you can be able to have the same techniques when you're striking, right? Well, now when I try to do that, I cannot seem to find a rhythm. And that's tough. That is really hard for me. That calmness, that sort of passive exploration of just being able to create some sort of calm flow. I can't seem to get there. It's tough. It really is hard for me. And I don't know, I've tried different ways. I mean, to be honest, I haven't put a whole lot of effort into it. But when I have made attempts, it became a little challenging. So, again, you as a listener, if you got some ideas, I'm all ears. I'm more than happy to take your advice and take it into consideration and share it with others. Another one is slowing down. I think that one relates to a lot of what I said before with setting limits. So slow down. It's not necessarily the things you do, but also maybe in what you do. Slowing down could be in a lot of things, either the way you eat, being able to, the way you might travel. It could be a lot of things. You know what you're doing that might be at a rapid pace that's causing your heart to exhilarate. Hey, maybe this is a good place to choose to slow down and give yourself some calmness. Again, if you're running late to an appointment, If you leave a little early, get there early, you don't have to rush. So therefore the anxiety is not spiking, you're not over exhilarating. And you can, if you left 30 minutes early, you can go with a calmness. So slow down. So yeah, apply that where you feel is necessary. Another one is a relaxation technique that works for you. So finding that technique. Okay, I mentioned it already. Meditation, yoga, whatever, praying, anything that you feel that will be a good technique for you. As I mentioned, this all falls under what I'm trying to still work on, because for me, it's hard. My brain, sometimes I have things go in my head that keeps me from being able to relax. To be honest, I even hate closing my eyes, especially if I'm in public. You'll never, ever find me in some sort of yoga studio or meditation studio where I'm in a room and there's probably 15 or so people and the door is to my left rear or right rear or my six. You will never find me in a situation like that where I have to close my eyes. It just won't happen. I just could not feel comfortable enough to put myself at ease for that. So that relaxation technique is not going to work for me. For you, a different story. I would have to figure out something else. I don't know what that is yet. I do know that I'm working on it. One of the things that I've applied recently was I put up a canopy, an outside patio, and I have a nice little table there, a couple of tables, and I go out there and I do my cigar thing. That is somewhat relaxing. It's again a work in progress. It's like I said, it's mostly in my head that keeps me from getting there, but I'm feeling that the cigar thing is definitely one thing that contributes, but it's not enough, and I'm working on that. Another thing for you, again, similar for me to continue working on, is resolving issues or problems. If you have constant things in your background or things that you have not resolved or dealt with, they're still going to be there. They're going to be in your head. That is not helping. Okay. So if you have these issues or problems, I don't care what they might be, you definitely want to try to put them to rest. And I would allow you to, maybe it'll help you sleep at night. Maybe it'll help you breathe better. Maybe it'll help you meditate. I don't know. However it's impacting you, that could be something to be concerned about. So try to fix it, and I don't know what may bother you, as it may not, may bother me or not bother me. You might have a bill that's bothering you, and that could be your problem. So pay it off. You may have a fight with a girlfriend. Fix it. Break up. I don't know. But try to get past it, get through it, or put it in a place where it's not impacting you the same. The one last thing I want to share, well, it's not the last thing, but you should understand that when you are doing these things, try to clear your conscience. It's related to resolving your problems. Try to clear your conscience to be able to tackle these things so you can be able to find that peace. If you're having all of these issues in your head and you're fighting things internally, it's going to be tough, right, to find that peace. So figure out what you need to do to clear your conscience. Understand if you actually did somebody wrong or if you did something you shouldn't have done. Figure what that is and fix it or let it go. That's important. And I want you to understand that that is something that you as a person can only do. They have a saying that there is always tomorrow. I'm going to add to that saying, God willing. Okay. And that only means that if you're allowed to live another day, then there is a tomorrow. But we hopefully, this based on data, statistics, chances are you're going to be here tomorrow. And because of that, you hold on to that. Knowing that you're going to have tomorrow is a reason for you to continue to push forward and find peace. Okay. All right. Few more. Understand your triggers. This is, important, because if you don't recognize what may piss you off or what may cause you to have some sort of panic attack, these are the things that could sneak up on you. So I want you to understand what those are. I myself still work on it. Mine are pretty much related to a lot of the things I experienced in the military. And then I got a few things that are just me as a person. So for me, it's like, okay, I can see that's coming around the corner, or I understand that there's something I have to be concerned about. What do I do to either avoid it or to ensure that it doesn't take control of me? Okay. My next one is something that's really cool. Now, this one is like very helpful in relating to finding peace. And I think it's because for me personally, it kind of reminds me of when things were. And if you have a past that you either proud of or happy with, or just moments you want to kind of go there, well, you do that by looking at old pictures. Find some pictures that reflect a good time and look at those and take yourself back to be able to smile on those, and that will give you some of that peace. Although it's temporary, it will definitely help. Another thing is to tell the truth. If you plague yourself with lies or deceit, or you're always up to something, you're going to have all kinds of things going on. This is the opposite of what I mentioned about clearing your conscience. So again, you need to focus on being the kind of person that doesn't have the secrets or anything to worry about. You want to be transparent. You want to put it all out there, keeping yourself where, hey, this is how it is. So based on that, take it or leave it. So that means tell the truth. Be the kind of person that you are who you are. You say what you say. And I think related to that ties into what I mentioned earlier about learning to forgive. Learning to forgive is very close to what I talked about, how I have a hard time with. But if you can do that, you don't have to worry about these things holding you hostage. So find those things that bother you and learn to forgive. And that's one less thing you have to worry about. Okay, so I gave you a lot of stuff to think about, a lot of tools and techniques. Now, I mentioned how I'm working on them, but most importantly, this is an ongoing effort. Do not give up. Continue to push through. Continue to try and apply any of these tools. Now, here's a couple of more that I want to share with you that's purely optional. And I didn't mention them only because these are things that are a little bit more temperamental and based on your own interest. But another one is religion. Some people will find peace through religion. Whatever your background, race, culture, whatever, you can look to the church for spiritual guidance. Your pastor, minister, your father, whatever religion you choose, maybe that's an option for you. Another thing is people say volunteering is a great tool. By putting yourself out there, being selfless, and allowing yourself to be distracted. That didn't work for me. It might work for you, but it doesn't work for me. I personally have volunteered my entire life in so many committees and organizations. I can literally probably count over 50 to 75 organizations in my adult life. But in the last 3 to 4 years, I found that I can't do it anymore. So again, I've learned my limits. But for you, it might be the best thing to where you can be able to find positive people. You might be able to find that you're useful in something. It's a great distraction. You can apply different tools and allow you to focus on something other than negativity because you're doing something positive. And that could be anything. And I can promise you there's more than enough opportunity for you to do that. Not everything is for everybody. And I definitely don't want to expect you to do what I'm doing or even your friend. Just figure out what works for you. Remember, the purpose of this, the title is Finding Peace, but that relates to you as the listener trying to figure out what works. If you're a military veteran and you're struggling with trauma or mental illness, first responders out there, or just somebody who is just went through some things that is plaguing you today, and you're having a hard time, play this back, pick up on some of the tools, and figure out what you can do, because you cannot continue to be in darkness. You need to find peace. Sometimes a decision is hard. I'm going to tell you, I go to Mexico regularly, and it's not the easiest decision for me because there's so much sacrifice that goes into it, but it has come to where it is helping me. I feel at the moments that I'm there, from literally the moment I get off the plane, even though I'm passing through the terminal and after I leave, go through security, I got all those vendors trying to sell me this and asking me if I need a taxi. It doesn't even bother me, because for some reason, the culture of where I am and the things that relates to me being there, it's like a huge weight is lifted. And I find that I need this. It overcomes meds. It overcomes so many things that it's important that I absorb as much as I can before I have to come back to reality and come back to my home and get back to the normal swing of things. So I hold on to as much as I can do and they carry me forward. And then I need to get back. Or we try to something else. Doesn't have to be Mexico. It could be something else. For you, I don't know what it is. Try other countries. I've been in a lot of different places. Whatever works. Whatever you need. Because the bottom line is, you're the one that is accountable. Well, that's the show. My name is Dr. Bryant. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Finding Peace. Remember that all of these shows are designed to assist you, give you guidance, give you information. I am not a licensed psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. My job is to give you the resources, give you the tools, bring you the experts, and share the knowledge and my experiences. Thanks again for listening. Check us out on the website, drbryantSpeaks.com. Till the next time. And remember, someone is always listening, and And that someone is not just me. Take care. Till the next time.
Field Talk Against Urban Issues, formerly called Dr. Bryant Speaks, is a podcast show that provides information, programs, and experts that challenge mental health issues.